Hey everyone, this is Krista, and this is my infographic on reducing cognitive load. I chose this topic because I use a lot of technology in my classroom while I teach, and I got a lot out of watching all of the videos, the lecture from Richard Mayer, and the information provided by what's her name? By Kathy Schrock, and all these little samples, and her video was very informative as well. So I got a lot out of that. I think design and having smart design when you're using technology in your class is really important. So that was my reason for choosing this topic. To work this piece, I chose the reading 9 Ways to Reduce Cognitive Load in Multimedia Learning by Richard E. Mayer and Roxana Moreno. And I looked at some of the images and chose the figure 1 as one of the visuals in my piece, and I chose some of the verbiage and topics that were in the reading, and I tried to come up with my own interpretation of them based on how I understood the terminology. And I chose to, I really tried to be minimalistic, although I'm not so sure. I mean, the topic is reducing cognitive load, and I think what I did do in reducing the cognitive load in my piece was just focusing on a few key points from the reading. I also included, which was not part of the reading, the 12 principles, Mayer's principles for design. And I thought, even though it wasn't part of the reading, I thought that it was meaningful, and I wanted to include it, and I turned it into a graph. And for this piece, this one was a challenge for me. It took me a long time to figure out what applications I was going to use to actually execute it. I did some research. I wanted to try some different types of applications that were specifically for infographics, but at the end of the day, I kind of stuck to some of the things, the applications that I really knew. I wasn't sure, given that I don't have a lot of time sometimes, and learning something new, it just is not a thing I can do right now. So I really had to rely on the skills that I have. So I know how to use Excel. I created a quick graph, a chart from here, and I used Publisher, which is an MS product, so I was able to carry that over into here. I used simple Paint. I used the crudest of applications, the ones that I have the strongest connection to and the most familiarity with. I did explore other things. For instance, I went on to Google, and Google has a Google drawing tool. I think it's called Drawing. Let me see if I can find it. I was working on it earlier. Let me see. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to waste time looking for that. But I did explore other options. And at the end of the day, I really had to go to produce my work. I had to go with the tools that I knew how to use. And so that's what I did. I used this publisher tool. I worked really hard on finding images that I thought were appropriate for this idea of cognitive load, cognitive overload, limited capacity. I have things that look like circuit boards. I have this interesting little brain plugging into a plug in a light bulb thing going on over here, and cogs for cognition, like the inside of clockwork. And I really tried to find pictures that went along the theme of machinery and the kind of circuitry kind of look of this figure 1 that came right from the Mayer reading. I found this very challenging. I spent a lot of time on it. There are things I wish I had done better. For instance, I wish I could make this text stand out a little more. I'm sure that there's a way to enlarge it and make it more important, but I had a hard time figuring that out. And I did the best things that I knew how to do. I think it's visually interesting. I don't know if I reduced the cognitive load. I have this kind of spring color palette that has been kind of following me around lately. But I think, and I would really love to see how this looks if I printed it out, to be honest with you. But here is my work, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm tired. I worked hard, and I'm glad that I finished it. Happy holidays for those of you having holidays coming up soon, and ciao.